Welcome to our survey of the invasive crayfish species in the Severn Sound Watershed. Our team of dedicated invasive species experts is working hard to document the spread of these invasives and the potential impacts they're having to the native ecosystem. Documenting invasive crayfish helps us understand impacts, develop management strategies, and inform conservation efforts such as habitat restoration and protection of native species, even if we can't stop the invasion. This recent survey was conducted by staff and volunteers from OFAH and SSEA at several dozen sites in the Severn Sound area.
Our survey process involves wading into the streams and rivers using dip nets to collect crayfish, while also collecting crayfish by hand. This allows us to gather further data on their population and distribution. Identifying crayfish in the field requires careful observation. Our team looks for specific physical characteristics to distinguish between different species. One of the key aspects to our survey is differentiating between invasive and native crayfish species. Invasive crayfish tend to be larger and more aggressive, often outcompeting native species for resources. Here, our biologist explains the distinguishing features of each species.
So, you good, Patrick?
Yes.
Okay, so this one, the key identifying feature is that black stripe down the abdomen there. So it's northern Clearwater. Now with northern Clearwaters, you have to watch because sometimes they'll have a rusty patch as well. So they'll have a rusty patch and that dark stripe, and that's typically when you know it's a hybrid between a rusty and a northern Clearwater. And also they have what's called a carina. I can feel it with my fingernail there. So that's in the rostrum, so the nose portion there. There's a ridge that's in between. Now rusties, they're like perfectly smooth. Then, if we flip it over, you see there, those are the gonopods, right there. So this is a male.
Okay.
So, and they go into two forms. So there's form 1, which is reproducing, and form 2, which is not reproducing. And when they molt, they'll molt into form 2 or molt back into form 1. And you can usually tell by the gonopods. So these ones are nice and pointy. So they're those right there. So this guy's ready to mate. And then with the females, you'll typically see on their tail here, the tail sign, you'll see white underneath, and that's glare. And glare is also the female indication that they're ready to reproduce. So then finally,
Did you get form off the thing?
yeah, form 1, and then where did the calipers get to? Aha! Cameraman. And then when we measure them, we're measuring what's called the CPL, or carapace length. So you can take just from the tip of the rostrum, with it squeezing, to the base of the carapace, and you can see here, 27.
Okay.
And then for overall length, you can typically triple that, so to accommodate for the abdomen and then the claws. So if you were to triple that, you'd probably get the overall length. So yeah, that's one done.
And then we do species 6, carapace length, and it's 1 for male. And then if it was a female, same thing, sex would be for F, same
And
length.
we'll try to find the female here.
And then it would just be glare and glare.
Okay, so this might be too happy with my difference, but so you can see they're kind of like a lock and key. So there's the reproductive structure there.
Cool.
And yeah, which can also help in differentiating between rusty and northern Clearwater, because if I recall correctly, these guys, their two segments are of equal length, pretty close, whereas rusties are slightly offset. So one element's longer than the other. And yeah, so here you can see they're the same length.
In this segment, we see 2 buckets of crayfish, one with individuals that have been ID'd, sexed, and measured, and another with crayfish still to be processed. After collecting data, we carefully release native crayfish back into their habitat. This helps maintain the ecological balance and supports the health of the local ecosystem.
Cool.
Our survey takes us to various beautiful locations, such as Lachlan Falls. Here you can see our surveyor in action, collecting crayfish and documenting their findings. These close-up shots provide a detailed view of the crayfish, highlighting their unique features. This helps in accurate identification and documentation. Thanks to the staff and volunteers from the Severn Sound Environmental Association and Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters. Without this team, our surveys would not be possible. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more content. You can also follow us on social media and find additional information about the Severn Sound Environmental Association on our website.